Yo, what's good, guys? Sport Card Tom here, back with my second episode with Slabstocks FC. Today, I'm joined by not only a friend, but a very, very important person, I feel, inside the hobby of collecting and creating content around sports cards. My friend Vincent from Card Hour. What's up, man?
Thank you for having me, man. It's good
You're
to be
welcome.
here.
You're welcome. I mean, when I got offered this position with Slabstocks, you were one of the first people I hit up. I was like, "Yo, I need you on the show," because I was surprised you haven't already been on the show. Because when you look at the content you're creating around sports cards and your individual pages and your YouTube platform, you're growing at such a rapid rate. You're providing knowledge and information to people, for no cost. It was all free, so it was kind of a no-brainer. I'm glad you're here now. I'm glad we can have a conversation. We've got a lot to talk about. But yeah, let's get into it. So before we get into the talk, today's topic is mainly and primarily going to be Prizm, EPL Prizm, because obviously the announcement was just sort of made over a week ago. But before we get into that, I just want to ask you, as a collector, as an investor, put a few personal questions. So, how did you get into soccer cards in the first place? Like, what was the road for you?
For me, it all started last year in March. I'm a sports bettor, so there were no sports to bet on anymore.
Yeah.
Everything dropped, like NBA. There was no soccer. There was no nothing. So I did what anyone else was doing, just be on YouTube watching stuff. And I stumbled on a YouTube video talking about cards. Now, obviously, me being from Europe, I knew about it because I used to collect stickers. So I kind of knew about it, but they were talking about making lots of money and investing and all that stuff. And I was like, if that's something, well, I know the players, so let's do this. So that's basically where it all started. And I just started asking people is the soccer market something to invest in? Is it real? Does it exist? Now, obviously, back last year, March, no one was really interested in soccer cards. It was like, yeah, we know it's there, but it's going to take a while. It's going to take 5 years. Maybe at the 2026 World Cup, it's going to explode. People don't really care about soccer in the hobby. Yeah. And that's when I basically jumped in, because whenever someone says that to me, it means it's overlooked, it's undervalued. So that's when I went in. Luckily. So yeah, that's basically where it started.
Yeah. So
back since.
So, obviously, you said you're a sports bettor. That's probably one of your main sort of ways to make an income. Did you look at it primarily when you first came into the hobby as, I'm going to use sports cards to create sort of an extra stream of revenue to sort of support yourself? Or was it sort of a case of, as you got into it, you started to fall in love with the hobby and you started saying, you know what, I actually want to collect? Or what was sort of, your method throughout it? Were you strictly just in it to sort of flip a profit and make money for yourself, because obviously sports weren't there for you to bet on? Or was it sort of a bit of both? You just sort of grow to the hobby like myself? I mean, I was the same. I've got into it to invest and then flip, but then obviously I sort of simmered into collecting Rashford, and it got out of hand. So I mean, what was it like for you? Were you doing it primarily for one thing, or did you sort of mix in both and you sort of do both still to this day?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. I think a lot of people have coming in to make money, and you just enjoy it so much that you just start collecting as well. The more you're into it, right now, I'm just thinking about what did I used to do as a kid? Not only stickers, but on comics and games, and it's I want to collect pieces of my childhood again. It's now I have the funds. Now I'm older. Now I understand it all better. So it has more value, it feels like, now than when I used to play them, because then it was obvious, you have 50 games for the PlayStation 1 or PlayStation 2, just pop it in. But right now it's I need to get those again. But yeah, it started as how much money can I make of this, or is there an investment opportunity? But yeah, I mean, right now I'm buying lots of vintage because I have this fascination. I'm very interested in World War II. So I just combine my two passions, that's sports cards and World War II. So I buy players that played or have a connection with World War II. But yeah, I think a lot of people have it. They come in, it's just a force that takes you over, right? It's you have no control over it, and you say no, I'm not gonna do it until it hits you, and then you're just hooked.
That's the thing. I think obviously when it comes to sports betting, there's always a lot of sort of murky water there. Obviously, you can get addicted and stuff like that. Just without talking on that too much, obviously with sports cards, it's like a different sort of like, it's a different thing. Like, because you enjoy the sport and you enjoy the players, and you start looking all these different cards up and you find good deals, and you can sort of feel yourself getting out of hand at times. And that's what I did. Luckily for us, and obviously for anybody watching, if you are looking to invest or you're new to the hobby, do your research before you get carried away. Don't spend money you haven't got to spend. But it's such a physical hobby that you physically experience these cards. You experience the players week in, week out. If you invest in modern, if you've witnessed like Ronaldo, Nazario, and Zidane when they were in their prime, like for people who are a tiny bit older than us, like again, that's fun. It becomes so fun. It's got an aspect of not only, like you say, that sort of that gambling aspect and potential to make money, but also you've got that, like, you reliving moments of your childhood. Like, you can go and watch a Zinedine Zidane video and look at his card at the same time and hold it and just think, this guy scored. Like, it's it's such a good hobby. So just stemming from that, obviously March, you said you got into the hobby. What was your first purchase? Like, what was your first card purchase when you came into sports cards?
Yeah, so obviously I didn't know about the product. So I just went with what looked good and what I thought was a good product. Very early on, people were telling me to go for numbered and more rare cards, I would say. Yeah. So on the 9th, I looked it up. On the 19th of March, I've bought my first cards, which was the 2019-2020 Obsidian Serge Gnabry base. So that's out of 165 for €5, so $6. That was my...
That's crazy, because he had such a good year last year. Obviously, he scored quite a bit. He won the Champions League. Like, that's such a good purchase. So, I mean,
my first one.
Your first card, man. I think mine was some sort of like match attacks Mbappe 100 club or something. Like, I didn't know what I was doing, bro. But like, to be fair, like, all I was doing was buying Mbappe. So the same day I bought like 4 match attacks, and I realized, hang on a minute, I can get these Prizm cards for like £15. I started buying like new era Prizm and base Prizm Mbappe's. So I mean, but that's it. Everybody's journey is so different and so unique and so like custom to themselves. That I love hearing people's stories and what cards they were picking up back then. So I always encourage people to like invest in what they like, in the players they like and know and love. And I mean, I think me personally, not a lot of people who haven't heard of you or seen you before like won't know this, but I started obviously seeing you picking up a lot of Belgian players, and I know you and me had multiple conversations about Dries Mertens, and you were like, "Yo, this is so underpriced for how good of a player he's been." And that's it. Like, everyone's got a different niche, a different sort of path they look into when they're looking to invest into players, and that's what I love about the hobby, is nobody's journey is the same. So just moving away from your personal story, your personal like road into cards. We're gonna talk now about EPL Prizm, which, just before we get onto that again, it kind of full circle for me and Vincent, because we actually got started talking based on 2014 Prizm. I can't remember when we actually started speaking. It's a while now, but we started talking because it was when the Prizm boom was happening. And we were like, yo, we can't justify like Prizm being so high price compared to like some of their older cards. Like, it's crazy. So first question, EPL Prizm, that's what we're talking about now. How do you think this year's EPL Prizm will compare to last year's? So the 2019-2020 set, how do you think it's going to compare?
Oh, it's a very good question. I always felt like EPL Prizm was like a low entry point into the Prizm world. It's like, if you want to get into Prizm, then, and if you like have a club in the Premier League, because obviously you always hear like Premier League is creme de la creme. If there's one league in the world you want to play, it's Premier League. I felt like he kind of missed his mark last year. Obviously, you have nice inserts with the Kaboom and the fireworks. I think those are amazing inserts.
Yeah, the color blasts are unreal. I remember seeing a Pogba one go for like over $1,000. It was ridiculous.
They look amazing. And I had someone friendly disagreeing with me last night when I said that I think it's who really cares? But then I started thinking more about it, or more deeply. I started reading and asking people. So that's why I put out stories on my Instagram. So it's pretty interesting though, because I always, as I said, I always felt like it was a low entry point and it wasn't really looked after or sought after much. But then again, I asked people, what set do you like the most, 2018 Prizm or 2019 EPL? Like 83% said 2018 Prizm. The next question was, on what set would you spend the most money on? Again, at 2018 Prizm or 2019 EPL, and 88% said 2018 Prizm. But then I asked them, is the 2019 EPL set overlooked? And 59% said yes. So people would rather spend money on 2018 Prizm knowing that the 2019 EPL set is overlooked. So I mean, the sample size was over 150 people, so it's not that it's like 5 people entering. So people are aware that the 2019 set is overlooked. So maybe there's an opportunity there with the new set coming.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's one of those as well where maybe 2018 Prizm sort of, it's again with maybe 2017-18 Topps Chrome, they're sort of the two big sets which a lot of people got into this hobby on. With 2018 Prizm drying up, I think people are either trying to get a piece of that like pie while it's, you know, it's getting hotter now, especially with Mbappe's prices rising. People are trying to get the last sort of crumbs of that when they can for an affordable price. And I feel like eventually, once that sort of becomes less and less like, you know, attainable, I think people will start to see the value of 2019-20 Prizm. So, I mean, for me, I think we had a wonderful pool of players and rookies for the first EPL Prizm set. Not that that holds any weight in terms of value of cards, but I mean, I just can't see. I don't know. I've got a question down the line. I just can't see the rookie pool being great. You know, it's one of those. I just hope it's worth what price retailers are going to resell it at. I mean, we saw yesterday, obviously, blowout price, and it is $600. I don't know. I feel like $600. I know a lot. This might be controversial. A lot of people might disagree. I actually think $600 is going to be a bit. There's a lot of potential for it to be a profitable box. Now, I know every single team has 15 players in every team. I know every team has a base of silver, like a number to 1, 5, 10, 15, all the way through to 299. So there's a lot of cards in this set. There's going to be a very high print one. So obviously it's going to be harder to find these stars. Like, it's going to be hard to find these stars. But I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, shout out to Austin. He said the same thing. I wouldn't be surprised if these will hit $1,000. I feel like these boxes are going to increase. I feel like $600 now for a pre-order. I feel like if you hold that for a week, a couple of weeks after the release, I feel like you're going to make. I feel like you're going to make a good amount of money. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not telling anybody to do that. Invest the money. I'm not the right person to ask for financial advice. That's just my opinion and thought. I feel like there's still room for this price to increase and make money. And the thing is, as well, people are going to have multiple opportunities. If you live stateside, one thing which EPL Prizm is notorious for is it's releasing retail. So you'll be able to try and, you know, because I know what the EPL Prizm or product in the US is like. It's very hard to get your hands on because you've got people waiting out vendors and stuff like that. So there is an opportunity to get this at retail price if you hit the stores at the right time. You know, you get there before for multiple people. So, I mean, if you got anything else to say on that topic.
Yeah, I just think that the 2019 EPL set was released in a market that just wasn't ready as a whole. Market has matured so much, even though we're still 5 minutes in. It changed quite a lot. A lot more people came in. So maybe with the new set coming, it can be a gateway for American investors to find their way into the soccer card market, because again, they hear about Premier League, it's a new set, market is more mature, and maybe that way the 2019 Prizm set, people will look more towards that because they hear, there's a new release, so that means there is another one already there.
Yep.
So I also felt like the 2019 set was partially driven by Pulisic, who had his first Prizm card, right? That was his first one,
Yeah,
holding
I
his
believe it was,
yeah, holding his Chelsea shirt.
Yeah, they should
So
have had a better picture than that, but yeah, no.
well, yeah, I feel like that like was like a driver for that set. So I'm very curious to see what's actually in this one to justify the $600, because I mean, let's be honest, the rookie pool isn't that deep or that great. So, but as you said, the market, the way it goes right now, like as soon as there's a new box, prices shoot up. Whatever is in there, it's like
Yeah, you can't really lose. It's crazy unless you rip it, and then you can.
Yeah, it doesn't really have to be something extremely fancy to make it go up in price, because a lot of people are just waiting for new stuff. So I mean, yeah, I'm very curious to see what's exactly in there, but it's gonna be it's gonna be interesting. Yeah.
So we touched on this just briefly in the last question. Do you see 2019-20 Prizm, so last year's EPL Prizm, holding more weight in its price compared to this year's due to it being the first EPL Prizm set? Now, I know a lot of people have this sort of this thing, even myself, I think I've said it a couple of times, where it's like, oh, it's his first EPL Prizm set. It's going to be notorious in one way or another, like down the line. But your personal opinion, what do you feel like? Do you feel like first EPL Prizm set is enough to give it a bit more validation than anything else? Well, this next set coming out, at least.
I would say yes. I mean, people always look for the first thing, right? Even though it's EPL Prizm, I still feel like people are going to be like, oh, there's already a set. Like, let's just go. If they don't like the players in the last one or in the latest one, then just go for the first. It's like with the 2014 and 18 Prizm set as well. Like 2018 is so much more recent, but people just go for the 2014 because it's earlier. Like it's the first release of World Cup Prizm.
Yeah, I feel like if you ever to offer two people, if you ever to offer one person even a 2014 Prizm PSA 10 Messi or a 2018 World Cup PSA 10 Messi, you're taking the 2014 just because it's earlier.
Yeah.
You know, and obviously first Prizm in terms of soccer. So it's yeah, I'm the same. I mean, the only exceptions for me is like Kaboom and Color Blast. I feel like regardless, they're always going to hold a lot of weight because I feel like personally they're closer to artwork than any other card we see. You know, you look at Ronaldo's Kabooms, Messi Kabooms, even basketball like Jason Tatum and LeBron James, like all these Kabooms are like a lot of people consider it like physical artwork because it's cartoon art, and I feel like they're your only exceptions. I feel like every year, regardless of whether the set's more you know, highly rated than the previous set, Kaboom and Color Blast are always going to be like the sort of chase cards, the two big chase cards, case hits, which people are going to look after and try and you know chase. So I feel like they're the only exception. But again, I do feel like that first EPL Prizm, like that stamp for last year's set, is eventually going to hold a lot of value. It's just
sorry.
No, go on.
Especially, well, it's again, you have to look at the players in there, right? I don't want people now to go and buy every single EPL 2019 Prizm card because that's not how it works. You need to look for the right players, and not every single card is gonna go up. It's like you need to know what to look for. Like that's Foden's first Prizm card. Rashford has a Prizm card in there, so Pulisic as well. So just look for players who are relevant in today's market and just try to find those in the first one. Like if Fabianski is not going to shoot up in price because there is a new one of Fabianski in this one, you know, it's a goalkeeper, but just that's the thing I would definitely want to say. It's like, don't just go out and buy every single one now because there is a new release.
And shout out to the people who messaged me this week after the first video I did. He was like, yo, I'm just getting into soccer. I don't know who to support. Like, that's fine, by the way. If you're looking into soccer and looking for ways to invest and buy cards, but you don't have a team or a player, that's great. Like, what I would recommend doing is going onto YouTube and looking up like the 2018 World Cup goal montage and just look at all the players. Just watch the way people play, watch some of the goals people scored, watch how they celebrate, watch how they get hyped, figure out people's names, players' names, and just go from there. Like, that's probably, in my opinion, one of the best ways you can learn. Especially global football, is watching World Cup montages and just figure out players from there. And obviously all you have to do is say you find Paul Pogba. Man United biased again, so take that with a pinch of salt. You find Paul Pogba, you Google who does Paul Pogba play for. You see Manchester United, boom. You know, same with Antoine Griezmann. Who does Antoine Griezmann play for? Barcelona. Okay, I'm going to start collecting Barcelona cards. Like, I like the way he scored that goal in the World Cup and stuff like that. Like, and eventually, if you find a team in EPL Prizm, great. You know, you can look at Chelsea players, you can look at West Ham players, or anything like that. But if you find a player outside of that, just Google their nationality, and you've always got 2018 Prizm you can go and look to pick up. There's going to be future Prizm sets. That's one thing I feel a lot of people are fearing, is they're getting this fear of missing out and fear of they've missed out because Prizm's already doing crazy things from 2018. And I still feel there's going to be so much opportunity in these next 10 years that anyone who's in the hobby now is classified as still being very, very early. Yeah, people caught that wave like I did in February last year, which is extremely early because obviously the profits were ridiculous. But don't be scared to take your time and figure out who you like as a player and find an identity of people you want to collect, and then go and collect it. There's no rush to this. Just you know, do your due diligence, do your 50 hours of research, and then make your decision. So
pretty good.
Yeah. So moving on from that, big question on my mind comes with a little bit of a negative side because obviously a bias for me as well. Do you think Panini are going to mess up this year and put a rookie logo on players such as Mason Mount and Mason Greenwood, because they've had so many across the last 4 sets? Do you think they're going to do it? Do you think they could actually physically do it? I mean, before you answer, Mason Mount, Mason Greenwood, Panini Chronicles both had rookie cards. Mason Greenwood's obviously had the tops now, which is different. It's not Panini, so that's different. He's also just had the Immaculate rookie card. Like, these were all 2019-20 products which were delayed. Do you feel that Panini are going to do the unthinkable and put a rookie logo on Mason Greenwood and Mason Mount in a 2020-2021 product?
Well, there's 2 answers. I would say yes because they can, and no because they can't. I mean, that would be brutal. That would be ridiculous, to be honest.
Oh, them $600 prices. Make that 15. Make that 1,500, bro.
That's the thing, right? I kind of have to believe that they're gonna do it because the price is already at 600.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean,
I don't know. We need, like, again, this is where it goes back to our Panini. If Panini do it, there's no saying they have. If they put a rookie logo on, technically what you would call a 3rd-year product for Greenwood. He played in 2018-19 Champions League for United. He played all season last season. He's starting this season a lot. Yeah, he's not doing as well, but he's still playing. It'd be, oh my, I won't be able to believe my eyes. Like, I'd be very, very shocked. And if he do, that very much tells me as an individual, okay, they're very loosely using the rookie logo, and I feel like they're doing it more so. They're basing it more so if a player's appeared in the set rather than their actual career. I hope there isn't. I really, really hope there isn't, because I want to collect, but I've got a feeling they will. I don't know.
Yeah,
they need to juice the price, and it's his first Prizm. But there's conversations to be had. What would that hold value in terms of Greenwood? It's his first Prizm, so it's going to hold value anyway. But what would that rookie logo, like, how does that rookie logo stack up against his Chronicles rookie ticket? Do you know? Like, I don't get it, because I just feel like the culture of the hobby, which is like, it's fine, you know, it's not something I can be mad at. It's the way that the hobby's designed and it's built. Yeah. I just feel like everyone's going to flock to Prizm. I feel like that's what people are going to do, is they're going to look for his Prizm card because it's the big brand name and it's established and it's well known. People hear Prizm every day. Yeah, I feel like that's going to become his most desired card.
Yeah, I wouldn't agree at all if they put it on there. I can see why they would, obviously. Yeah. There's no way you can justify it. That's just I feel like they just take away the meaning of a rookie card. Like Topps Now is like, with Topps Now they're doing it as well. It's like, how does it make sense to print 4 Mukoko cards in 2 weeks' time, all with the RC logo? Like, it doesn't make sense anymore. Like does having an RC logo mean that little in the soccer card market? Then, well, that may be the case. Then, like, are they going to try to destroy? Maybe it's harsh words, but are they going to try to get rid of the rookie aspect in soccer because it's so hard to determine which one is a rookie and which isn't? Like, I don't know.
See,
I hope they don't.
For the Mokoku, I actually personally don't mind that. So I don't mind. I don't mind if it's same year cards. Like this is my thing with this year. If they put it on Prizm, if it's cards, I do understand. I feel like they were just milking Mokoku. I really do. I feel like just your cash cow. Let's get the money. Let's just milk it. But I feel like they. I don't mind the same year products. So if it's a first season, because if you look at basketball, right, I think they have like 7 or 8 like releases throughout the year. Obviously, they have Prizm, Mosaic, Contenders, NBA Hoops, and a bunch of others. I'm sure there's other ones which I just missed. So I do apologize if you're a basketball fan. But they're all rookie cards. Like, so if you look at like Zion last year, he had like 5 or 6, 7 different sets, how many it was for a rookie card, which is fine. Like that, I don't mind that. Like, I don't mind it, but so the Mokokus are fine for me. Like, I didn't really mind that because it's like, okay, he's still got like another, 11, 12 months of this in terms of sets. But then it's like with the Greenwood and Mount, it's like they were playing last year. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me if you're going to re-put, like, you just, I don't know, you're putting a rookie stamp on something. So that's just my opinions, my thoughts, A product's still going to sell. People are still going to want it. People are going to go to retail stores to buy it. My opinion is not going to change that. My opinion is just sort of, I thought it was a fun talking topic because I know there's probably a lot of people who might think the same. But again, a rookie stamp on a Greenwood card on a Prizm is going to affect the price quite a bit. It's going to bring the price up a lot. So for collectors, it's not going to be fun if you're a huge Greenwood fan. But I mean, you never know. Things might start to trail if people start putting so much money and sort of weight into his Prizm. Other cards might start to follow. So, moving on. Do you think? Okay, so great. This is a great leading on question. Do you feel Prizm carries too much weight in the hobby and is overhyped?
Well, this is always a tricky question.
I'll go first. Sure. Do you feel Prizm carries too much weight in the hobby and is overhyped? Yes and yes. I feel like Prizm carries way too much hype in the hobby. And that isn't coming from like a sore lose. I missed out. I've got a bunch of Mbappe Prizm. I've got a bunch of Rashford Prizm. Like, I've got loads. I just feel like Topps Chrome's the set, bro. 2017-18 Topps Chrome is the set. Like, the set. The design from 2017-18 Topps Chrome is nicer than the 2018 Prizm like set. It's nicer than the 2019 EPL Prizm set. I don't know. I just feel like it's way too overhyped. And then for me, Obsidian, I've got a huge addiction and love for Obsidian. Like, I love Panini Obsidian cards. Like how they're all blacked out. Obviously harder to grade. They're a bit thicker, the cards. But me personally, there's so many different like modern sets which I would go for before Prizm. But again, my investment side when I was getting into the hobby was very much like, I'm going to cover all bases. I've got liquid I can put into this and this, and that's why I've sort of got a mixture. It's like if you invest in cryptocurrency, right? You build a portfolio. You don't invest everything into Ethereum, although there's a good chance that could be a good play. You diversify your portfolio and you sort of add different things, so you're covered for things going up and things going down. But the core question: do I feel that Prizm it carries too much weight in the hobby and it's overhyped? Yes, 100%. What are your thoughts?
I would say yes. I mean, I get it. It's the first year of Prizm and it's important in the NBA market, like basketball market. But this is the soccer market, not the NBA market. So. Yep. I mean, people were paying $5,000 for an 11th year Ronaldo card from a tournament where he didn't even make it out of the group stages. He also scored 1 goal in the whole tournament. Like, that's the year they came after the United States in the group stages. So United States kicked him out. Portugal. And the same for Messi. I mean, people were paying thousands of dollars for his 10th, 11th year card. At this point, I don't even know what it is. And Argentina make it to the final, but it didn't win the tournament. Also, Messi wasn't even a top goal scorer. I think he scored like 4, and he had Thomas Müller with 5 and James Rodriguez with 6. So he wasn't a top scorer. They didn't win the tournament, and it's a 10th-year card, and people were paying more for that card than for his rookie. So now, even though I don't agree with it, I understand if that's what the market wants, and you're into this for the money, then obviously you need to follow where the money and the attention goes.
Yeah.
Do I agree with it from your standpoint? No, I wouldn't agree with it. Like, it doesn't make sense to me why you would spend so much money on a product that's just a name. Yeah. It's like it's just a name in another sport, and people, that's most recognizable. But I mean, it's not what Vincent from Card Hour wants, right? It's what the market wants.
Exactly. So I feel like the price is always gonna be high. I feel like that's how it is. And that's, to me, that's fine. Again, maybe there's a little bit of egg on my face because I missed out. I only got one Ronaldo. But at the same time, like, again, it's all personal preference, right? I mean, for individuals, it's personal preference. Some people might think it's warranted the hype because they've got thousands of these Prizms, Austin. So it's good. I feel like the price is always going to continue to sort of be high and dip a little bit and then go higher. I feel like that's just Prizm for you now. Yeah. Prizm's like the standard, and I don't think you're going to see that disappear anytime soon. Just personally, I just do feel like Prizm's overhyped. I would probably, and this is coming from a guy who actually doesn't have vintage but respects vintage, for what it is in the hobby. I'd rather go and put like the $700 to $1,000 for a PSA 10 Messi or Ronaldo into some sort of vintage card, which is going to, hold more value over a long period of time. Again, it's very subjective. It's very opinionated question. But, maybe some of you share the same thoughts. Maybe some of you disagree with me, which is fine. Let us know in the comments below, both me and Vincent. We'll both be happy to hear your opinions on it. So, last question. What are your thoughts on Panini finally launching the product, though, the EPL Prizm, this year's EPL Prizm, in the UK on the UK site? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I would say finally. I mean, how long did it take to realize that? I mean, it's from the Premier League. I mean, isn't they should have done that like with the first? They should have done that with other products as well. I mean, obviously, Premier League again is the creme de la creme. So if you want people to get invested in Prizm and just in the card market in general, just give a bunch of Premier League fans Premier League products. This only makes sense, right? Yeah. Especially if it's in their team kits. Like that's the whole point. So I'm actually glad that they finally made a decision to make some of the more premier, I would say, brands available to the UK. So I can't wait, to be honest, because I feel like it's a huge step forward. Like, people were complaining that they only had access to Topps product and stuff like that, and now Panini comes and drops a Prizm set on there. So I think that's huge. I think that could be a good gateway for people to get invested, especially European people, of course. Yeah.
So just to clarify, Panini they'll still be dropping in the US for anyone interested in the set, wondering about the set. That's a given. They're still going to be dropping in the US. What a lot of us UK and European fans got hyped about last week is they announced that they are going to be dropping the product in the UK on the UK website, it's crazy. For me, obviously, we've only been able to access Topps, like you said, directly from manufacturer, sorry. So this is a huge step forward for me. I do personally believe this is one of the first steps needed for us to potentially see products in our EU and UK retail stores. I feel like this is going to sell out quick. I don't know how much the allocation is that they've got for the UK. I don't know how expensive it's going to be, whether they're going to add a customs charge on top of it. I don't know if the product's being manufactured in the UK. Makes sense it'll be manufactured in the UK because they've got all the sticker, they manufacture a lot of the stickers in Europe at least. So I feel like there's potential for it to be produced here is there, which will avoid any custom fees for us. It's just good that they're offering a product to everyone nationwide, which is under that what resellers are selling at as well. Right, we're going to be getting this at like $120 a box if we buy directly from manufacturer. I just think it's good, like you say, you're putting the league which we watch week in week out in our hands, which is what people want, you're going to see instances where people, like, if it ever hits retail stores where people are going to buy their kids a pack and they're going to hit a one-of-one someone and they don't take care of it because they're a kid. But I'd rather see that in the UK happen than not see it at all. For me personally, I'm happy that this is happening. I feel like this is a big step forward for the hobby, for Panini, for ourselves, even for Topps. I feel like it's going to create a lot more competition, and they're going to have to step up Topps instead of just printing 5 Makokus to try and make a bit of money. They're going to have to actually start to get innovative with it. So a great thing for the UK and Europe. So right, in terms of the Prizm talking topic, I think we're just about done. So this is something now I'm implementing. It might be the same for every guest I have on. It might not be. These are quick fire questions, okay? So I've got 5 quick fire questions. All I need you to do is answer one-word answers. If you want to explain, go into it, but quick fire questions. So first one is, who will win the Euros 2020? Well, 2020.
Damn, do I have to give one answer?
One answer, as quick as you can. Who's going to win it?
Portugal.
Messi or Ronaldo?
Ronaldo.
On the record, Ronaldo. One player you haven't invested in yet, but you would like to?
I would say Bruno Fernandes.
Bruno Fernandes. Good answer. Who is the GOAT?
Wow.
Doesn't have to, this not anyone you want. Doesn't have to be Haaland. Okay. Well, I know you're picking this one then. Fatty or Haaland?
Haaland, sure.
Haaland. Okay, well, that's everything from myself and Vincent. Vincent, the floor is yours. Is there anything you want to say to people watching, any of your fans? Where can they find you? Anything like that?
Yeah, you can find me basically on every social media platform, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, @CardHour. I'm the only one there, @CardHour, so it's easy to find me.
At Lonely Card Hour. No, look, Vincent, again, he's a friend of mine. He's not just someone who I associate in the hobby. I classify him as an actual decent friend from a different country, Belgium, Anderlecht. So go follow him. He creates great content. He's got great analysis when it comes to like players and teams. He's very, very knowledgeable, like you said, with sports betting. He's very good with XG, predicting sort of players' trajectory, I guess you could say, and whether or not they're going to exceed or underperform their expectations. So again, if there's somebody you're looking for any of that more in-depth content, I would definitely recommend Card Hour. I said that on my podcast with Aaron. If you're not following Card Hour, I feel like you're missing out on a lot of what this hobby, he's producing a lot of content this hobby doesn't see. So go follow my boy. If you're new to the channel, Slab Stocks, subscribe, like, hit the notification bell so you get notified every time a video goes live. Leave a like on the video, leave some comments below on how you think this episode went. My first dual episode with no better guest in my opinion. So
you did good, man. You did great.
Appreciate it, Vincent. So we'll catch you next time. And take it easy, stay safe.
Same for you, man. Thanks for having me.
See you later. Bye bye.